Uh, I am Cornelius Storr. Uh, I'm giving my insight on how I feel uh, teen functional behavior assessment should be done in school. I feel like it should always be done as far as when we come to problem behaviors and uh, behaviors where they are progressing into larger behaviors that call for suspension of detentions. Um, this is the progress that kind of nips it behaviors in the bud and figure out what lies behind the behavior or what triggers behavior. I like the way in the story in the article where the team got together. They got everyone who was involved with the student and actually spoke about it. And like I said, it didn't take that much time. It was only 45 minutes, and I feel like they accomplished a lot. I feel like all schools should use this method, and instead of diving directly into suspension or expulsion, figure out what's the underlying reasoning for this behavior, because there's always a reason. There's always a trigger or an anecdote or what comes before and what comes after, because behavior is I would say a reward system, so to speak, or a consequence, or you're trying to get the child or the student wants something, so they behave a certain way, and most children don't know how to verbalize what they want, or they're used to behaving a certain way, so they just mimic what they learn or what they see, and it's a way of getting what they want, and the only way they get what they want is continue doing things that they did to get what they want. For example, Sandra, her escape, her way of getting away from doing a group project or doing work on the board was her escape was to be defiant or to be rude, and she know that time after time she'll be either removed from the classroom or sent to the office. When exactly that's what she wanted. She wanted to be either left alone or not do the group work or work in front of the class. So figuring out what it is that a child wants, and FBA should be used in all schools, whether good or bad schools. It should be used with all children when it comes to inappropriate behavior, and figuring out what they actually want, and trying to get more of appropriate behavior and working as a team. I'm going back reinforcing that the team should be a group of people such as the teacher, all the student teacher, parents, administrators, even down to the custodian or security guard of the school, anyone who has some type of contact or interaction with the student. They all should be a part of the team, of the FBA team, to figure out where these behaviors come from, so these behaviors don't escalate and go into behaviors that actually call for suspension or expulsion or detentions. Because we definitely want to keep all our kids in school, because when they're not in school, they're not necessarily learning. So myself as a case manager, I've did several functional behavior analysis, and that's what I've called on, what we call them at our school, where we get together and try to figure out what's going on, why the kid behave a certain way, what what behavior we want to replace the negative behavior with, and how we're going to do that, and who's involved in this plan, and who's going to help implement this plan. So we do that. So it's mostly for kids when the IEP comes about. If they are labeled either EBD or ED, or if they've been suspended for more than like 1 or 2 times, they usually get a FAB. So that's my experience. One of the reasons why I'm continuing to go into master degree program and get my LBS2 license is to go more in depth in the behavioral process and learn a little bit more. So that's my spiel of the article. I felt it was a lovely article. I would definitely share it with my colleagues, my SPED colleagues at my school, and with my principal and my dean of discipline at my school, and so we can get this started. And not just for kids with IEPs or kids who are labeled with emotional and behavioral disorders, but also kids who are not labeled yet, and kids who are just not behaving so-called appropriately in the classroom. So thank you. That's my time. I look forward to your feedback, and I'll talk to you soon.